Our top story tonight, an all clear has been issued at Fort Stewart after a reported suspicious package was determined to be no threat. Officials say the package was reported this morning at the Education Center, prompting the building to be evacuated while emergency crews investigated. After a review, officials determined the package was a misplaced personal item and not a danger. The Education Center will remain closed for the rest of the day and is expected to return to normal operations tomorrow. A teenage boy is dead. Another is recovering after a shooting in Chatham County. Chatham County police say officers were called to the 100 block of Bradford Court just before 9 Saturday night for reports of a shooting. When they arrived, they found a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old suffering from gunshot wounds. Both were taken to the hospital, where the 18-year-old later died from his injuries. The 17-year-old was hospitalized and his condition has not yet been released. The Chatham County Police Department's Criminal Investigations Unit is leading this case. It remains active and ongoing. A man is dead after a crash involving a bicycle in Beaufort County. The Beaufort County Coroner's Office has identified the victim as 31-year-old Christopher James of Rennes, Georgia. Officials say James died at the scene Friday morning after being struck in a crash involving a motor vehicle and a bicycle on Trask Parkway. The South Carolina Highway Patrol is investigating what led up to the crash. Meanwhile, Chatham County Police are reminding parents to make sure their children are riding e-bikes safely and legally. Police say they're receiving multiple complaints every week about minors riding e-bikes on busy roads, often without following traffic laws. Officers say some of the riders appear to be as young as 10. The department has stepped up enforcement, stopping young riders to explain the rules of the road and make sure that they understand how to ride safely. Police also want parents to know that not every two-wheeled electric vehicle is legally an e-bike. Bikes that look like dirt bikes or motorcycles and don't require pedaling may be classified as mopeds if they go fast enough, which require the rider to be at least 16 years old, have a valid driver's license, and follow all traffic laws. Officials also remind parents that dirt bikes are not legal to ride on public roads. With the new school year just weeks away, Tybee Island police are warning parents about an unpermitted teen beach gathering being promoted on social media right now. Police say flyers are circulating for an event called the Tybee Island Back to School Funk. The gathering is being advertised for the beach on August 1st between 6 and 10 at night. Officers say the event is not permitted and they'll have an increased police presence on the island during that time. Police are urging parents to talk with their teenagers about the risks of attending events like these. Continuing coverage now, Bullitt County is still working to repair roads damaged by severe weather, including the impacts of Tropical Storm Debbie. One of those projects is on Pleasant Hill Road near Portal, where the road has been closed since June 15th for drainage improvements. The closure was originally expected to last 4 weeks, but persistent rain has pushed the project back another 2. County engineer Ron Nelson tells WSAV the delays are entirely weather-related.
Rain showed up, just kind of created a haphazard scenario for the contractor. He had his cofferdam built in. We were dewatered at that time. And then, you know, here comes Mother Nature. She brings in a fairly sizable rain event over the weekend. This was 2 weeks into the project. Breaches that particular cofferdam, so we had to start over. So, you know, you lose a day in rain, it really costs you about 3 days.
If conditions cooperate, Nelson says Pleasant Hill Road is expected to reopen to traffic next Monday. Happening now, drivers should expect to see some road closures around the airport in Pooler. The railroad crossings at Bourne Avenue and Dean Forest and Gulfstream Road will be closed for maintenance work. You'd expect traffic impacts until Wednesday. WSAV is your local election headquarters. The race to fill South Carolina's U.S. Senate seat is changing tonight. Darlene Graham says that she will run to keep the seat once held by her late brother, Senator Lindsey Graham. She says after praying and talking with her family, she feels ready to run for a full term. Graham was appointed to the Senate seat last week by South Carolina's governor following the death of her brother. President Donald Trump also backed her campaign, saying that he gave her his complete and total endorsement. Graham will now enter a special Republican primary election next month for a chance to appear on the November ballot. She joins a Republican field that includes Congressman Russell Fry, Congressman Ralph Norman, and businessman Mark Lynch. Today, Representative Nancy Mace announced that she will not be running. The winner of the Republican primary will face Democrat Annie Andrews in November. For important information on all things elections in both South Carolina and Georgia, you can head to this section of our website, wsav.com/yourlocalelectionhq. A new Georgia law is changing how the state delivers public mental health care. Supporters say the changes will improve accountability and expand access, while some advocacy groups worry local communities could lose their voice, as WSAV's Archie Shashadri reports.
New state law is reshaping Georgia's community service boards, the regional network of clinics that provide mental health, substance use, and developmental disability services. The biggest change is the commissioner will now appoint the executive directors who oversee those clinics instead of local county boards. State leaders say the goal is to create a more consistent system of care across Georgia while also strengthening accountability. The law also highlights Georgia's growing crisis response network, including mobile crisis teams that can respond to people experiencing a mental health or substance abuse emergency.
So we have mobile crisis teams that can be dispatched 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They can come out for an adult, a child, anyone who needs the service. We dispatch about 1,750 of those every single month here in Georgia. We typically are able to respond within an hour.
The state says it operates about 25 crisis centers across Georgia, offering stabilization and treatment options for people experiencing mental health, suicidal thoughts, or substance use disorders.
Someone who may be suicidal may be a great place for that person to go and get stabilized. It could be someone who has a mental health diagnosis and maybe their medication's unregulated and they need to get stabilized on their medication. They can go for that purpose. It could also be someone maybe who has addiction issues that wants to get help with their addiction and find a way to get into recovery, and they can go to the crisis center. So whatever level that the person needs, that's kind of the entry point into the system. If they need a longer term stay or additional services, the good thing is our crisis centers are able to connect them to longer term care.
State leaders say they are working with local leaders to ensure services continue without interruption as the new governance structure takes effect. Reporting in Atlanta, Archit Seshadri, Atlanta Bureau Chief.
New at 6, Bryan County schools are joining a growing number of districts across Georgia cracking down on student cell phone use in the classroom. Starting this coming school year, students who bring personal electronic devices to school will have to keep them powered off and stored away from the start of the school day until dismissal. The district says the change comes as part of Georgia's Distraction-Free Education Act. Bryan County schools say that violations will be handled through progressive discipline to help enforce these new rules.